Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a hot take on, I guess you'd call this big tech censorship. Facebook will block Trump from posting at least for the remainder of his term. Also, Twitter suspended Trump for some tweets for 12 hours. He deleted them, and we're waiting to see if he gets back on. YouTube began doing stuff. Shopify closed e-commerce stores that were connected to Trump. I think Twitch banned him, and a couple other places that he may have been on. This, unfortunately, was one of Trump's failures, one of the few failures. Look, I think Trump did a pretty amazing job for a guy who was just barraged by attacks from the moment he got in to the moment he left. But not dealing with the big tech thing, unfortunately, he really should have put that in the forefront. He really should have dealt with that a lot sooner. And now it looks like, forget it. They're just gonna come after people. This is the new normal. They're gonna ban people. They're gonna ban everybody. Anybody who doesn't have the right political opinion, and I believe I'll be one of them eventually when they get down to me. When they get down to the tiny little channels, or when the algorithm finally catches up to me, they'll see what I said, or they'll go back in time and say, you're banned for saying stuff about the election before we decided that was no good. That's where we're headed towards. And in fact, YouTube, I think, announced that they were initially going to start doing stuff on the 20th, but they kicked it up because of what happened at the Capitol. You got to get on alt tech. You have to. Because all this stuff will become impossible to be on. Oh, I think Instagram he was banned on too. But Facebook and Instagram are kind of the same thing at this point because Zuckerberg owns both of them. So you want to get off these platforms now. Trump should too, but I don't understand what he's doing. At this point, he's lost the presidency. He's probably pretty upset, pretty frustrated. Everybody's coming down on him. I'm sure he's got bigger fish to fry to make sure he doesn't end up impeached or in jail. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he has any plays left beyond breaking a few toys on the way out. He could pardon Assange and Snowden. Definitely should pardon Assange. Assange is in rough shape. He's trapped in a British prison. Even if Trump pardons him, he's unlikely to get out from there. But at the very least, it would undermine the efforts of the Brits to keep him there, and they would stop appealing the case here. At the very least, it would save us money because it's a big giant waste of time. But as far as Snowden goes, should probably pardon Snowden too. He's not as in rough shape. He's at least, walking around for now. And there's a handful of other people. In terms of declassifying everybody, yeah, he could do that too, at least for a few things. If he takes it too far, they might kick it up another notch, but they're making threats. The Democrats are making threats, and they've got the momentum behind them at this moment because of what happened at the Capitol. It's not going to matter if stuff comes out later. It's already starting to come out. They had the video of Trump protesters stopping people from smashing the windows. We have Andy No coming out and identifying one of the protesters as a BLM activist. It's not gonna matter all that much because the mainstream media simply will ignore it. They will ignore it. They are not your friend if they ever were. And understand, I know a lot of you are depressed. We'll get into that in another video, but did you think this was gonna be easy? This is the establishment, and they are very entrenched, and they have a lot of money and a lot of resources, and a lot of people work for them, and they spend their time going, I can do something for you, master. Yes, I can demote this person or that person. I have this new clever way to demoralize people. You know, that's what they do. Because those people then get money and promotions and things that they want. It's all about money at the end of the day. All these people are, you know, they're racing for money. Facebook, you know, it's a money making operation. Zuckerberg's making money hand over fist. He's probably transitioning himself into Instagram, you know, because Facebook, in my view, is kind of dying. So Trump could take his followers elsewhere. He should do it within the next 2 weeks before he goes out of office. And he probably doesn't care right now, but he should do it. He should get on the Parler. He should get onto these other places. And, you know, that should be his last tweet. If he gets back on Twitter, his last tweet should be, I have moved my account to Parler. Boom. And Gab. You know, Gab Social. They're okay. The Parler one's the hot one now. Same thing with Rumble. Same thing with BitChute and the others. He should just start moving all his accounts. Why not? Say F you to these platforms that censored him. It would be a real statement. It would be a statement. Trump supporters, we are going elsewhere. And I think a lot of the Trump supporters would follow him. We'll see. Trump supporters are kind of demoralized right now, but we'll get into that in another video. But, you know, if you are on Facebook, look, I'm on Facebook. I'm there to promote. Oh, sorry, Jim. Promote my books and whatnot. I got friends and relatives who know me on Facebook, so, like, I'm not going to leave until they kick me out. So, whatever. I'll stay to the bitter end. I don't really use it all that much. Once in a while I get a tweet or something. There are a few people who message me through that. But, you know, it's not really all that important to me. And neither is Instagram, which I'm a total boomer on. I post the Webcomic Factory comics there, and everybody yells at me like, oh, you posted it wrong. You have to redo everything. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that extra work. That's a lot of extra work for me. You know, if you want to repost my comics, you know, we could talk, but it's too much. It's too much for me. I barely got enough time to write them and post them and do all the other things I have to do. But this is a terrible development. You know, back in the 80s, we used to watch these movies about dystopian futures where corporations were more powerful than governments. Facebook is now more powerful than the President of the United States. If the President says something out of line, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter can censor him. And, you know, it's you know, a lot of people out there on the left, they want a Bernie revolution and all these things. You think that's going to happen with multinational corporations controlling speech online? It can't happen. Yeah, anyone who's promoted by these companies is by definition part of the establishment, because these guys only promote establishment figures, from what I can see. I don't see non-establishment figures it's on the internet. They're just not profitable enough for them. Those days are gone, because, you know, the early days of the internet, it's like the early days of a TV network, like the early days of Fox. There were all these crazy shows on, and people were like, oh, what is this? And they'd all come to watch, and then they broadened the appeal as more people came in. It's the same thing on the internet with these sites. Yeah, at first they're amazing. All the other sites, all the alt-tech sites will be the same way. They'll go through the same phase. At first they'll be amazing because it'll be like the friggin' Wild West. Anybody posts, and any crazy person can post, and all these crazy things, videos that you never see. And then after a while, if it gets popular, everybody comes in, and at that point it starts to broaden. It starts to get territorial. People complain about things, and then slowly they start to get rid of all the cool stuff. And cool stuff in quotes. In other words, all the renegades and weirdos and all those kinds of guys, they have to go at a certain point. They cause too much trouble, and they go. And I'm sort of like right on the border of that. That's why I get kicked out of things. I've been kicked off of Reddit. I think I'm kicked off of Reddit again. I'm kind of like slow on my posting in there. I've been kicked. I've been banned from Imgur. I had to make a new account. Um, you know, these people get pissed off and they'll just ban you because. And I think on Reddit I'm shadow banned, which is it's just so annoying. But what we're headed towards is a situation like the China social credit score, and with that the government runs it, but in the United States it will be the corporations that run it. So Trump is persona non grata, therefore he's off all these platforms for now. Now he's too big and gets too many eyes to completely ban, but it sets a bad precedent. They're talking about banning people from financial institutions. It'll be impossible for you to bank, pay your bills online. Imagine that. Imagine that because of your political beliefs, you can't use your bank anymore. You don't have access to your money. You have to write a check like a caveman, or you have to use some obscure website to pay your bills that nobody else uses, and they probably pay all these fees. I had a friend. He had such bad credit. He had to go to a check cashing place to cash out his paycheck every week, and he had to pay his bills using money orders. And talk about a nightmare. I mean, that's a big pain in the neck. You have to pay all these fees. You have to pay for the check cashing. You have to pay for the money orders. It takes forever to pay your bills. That's really annoying. It's really annoying. Assuming they even let you do that after a while, right? So that's what we're headed towards. And this is something, unfortunately, Trump didn't address. And, was it a failing of his? Yeah, he probably would have addressed it in a second term. But now it's too late. Biden's certainly not going to address it. Ooh, no. But hopefully it won't go too much further. I think we're probably going to get some sort of electronic passport for the vaccine thing going on, something like that. So something you'll be required to carry or put in your phone to go anywhere, but we'll see. But this is a bad sign. This is a bad sign. And the number one reason why you should also follow me on BitChute and Rumble. Because I got all my videos there. I have to post them later, but still. After I'm kicked off of here, then the BitChute will be my primary place, because that's where I have the most subs in BitChute. I've got like 220 subs on BitChute, and I only got about 20 in Rumble. I just got on Rumble. So, building it up. So get on Alt Tech now, or be left behind when YouTube pulls the plug on all your favorite content creators. And you won't want to miss Little Joan. Exciting Little Joan, who is asleep. We'll see you on Alt Tech.